Hi, Cancers, and welcome to your April 2020 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to bring you some optimistic messages for your month of April. I hope that you are feeling well with this time of extra solitude, extra social distancing. Typically, your sign shines very brightly during times like this when we have to go within. This is fourth house energy that most of us are having to face during the month of April 2020. So I would definitely expect that you guys will do well during this time. Although some of the cards that we're seeing are representing a hard time, and maybe that's because Cancer has very recently adapted to being much more sociable and much more connected to, connecting with other people. And now, right when you're there and right when you're maybe forming all of those connecting points, here you have to only connect with yourself to some degree. You know, Cancers, I think there is a very quick demand to have a shift in personal narrative in the month of April for you all. I've got to say, I wasn't expecting to see the energies that did end up coming up for, Ten of Swords reversed, Five of Cups, Three of Cups reversed, the Devil. This is a time for you to shine. This is a time for you perhaps to even be a leader, or for you to almost show many people how to tackle a situation like this, rather than kind of, sinking into the shadows, or becoming inaccessible, or becoming, not what people expect. I almost think that you guys are a really stabilizing presence for most people, as it feels like your persona is what people need at the end of the road, or what people are always needing when they have nothing else. And that can be hard sometimes. So maybe a lot of Cancers are that sort of last chance for a lot of people, or that last backup plan. It's like, okay, if I can't feel all right with my job and all these other relationships and all these distracting things, then I'll call that Cancer person that I know, and I know that they'll be there. Here's the time where that narrative changes up a little bit, though, Cancer, and people start to need you a lot more. And I think that it highlights something within you that might have not been seen for a long time, which to me feels to be the question of, how do I react, or who do I become when I'm needed as a Cancer? When I'm needed, or when I'm called upon, who and what do I become for others? This feels to be the central point of your energy this moment, as, it's very likely that the Cancers of the world are going to really be the saviors to some degree. People might call on you to loan them money because they've lost their job, or don't have a paycheck coming in. People might come and knock on your door because they don't have food in their cabinets and they know that you can prepare them a meal. People may call you crying because they're so disturbed that their lifestyle has changed, and they might really try to seek emotional refuge within you. And who will you let in during this time, Cancer? What an incredible time to have a predetermined idea of who you could loan money to, who you could help, because people might take everything from you if you don't watch out. You don't want to be overgiving during this time, but at the same time, you don't want to be stingy. There's a really important balance for Cancers there, where we're not giving of ourselves to where we have nothing, but also where we're not being greedy with what we do have. And this is a bigger theme in humanity right now that is tough for everybody to some degree. And I feel that Cancer is the sign that really teaches us how to breathe again, and how to know and discern. So there's a lot of themes and stories relating to discernment here coming up for you all. We just had Saturn shift into Aquarius, which I've done a video on. I will link it below. And it's kind of a tough energy for Cancers because it does bring up a lot of ultimatums, and it does bring up a lot of choices. And Cancer is not a sign that really loves to, for example, like choose their favorite child, or like make a choice that might hurt or elevate other people. Cancer is typically quite fond of a type of what do I want to call it? Unknowingness, or unclearness, lack of clarity in favoritism or nepotism, or, a lack of hierarchy. Cancer kind of likes that sometimes. So here's a time where hierarchy does become very prevalent, and where, all of these people from the past may come back in, and how do you deal with it, what I will say before we get into the week to week Cancer is that you do have a type of crowning glory coming in. The Hierophant, Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Cups will be your foundation during this time. And I want to remind you of that because seems to be being held up, the Five of Cups, the sadness, the fear of betrayal with Ten of Swords reversed, the fear of addiction, and the fear of the loss of a support network with the Devil and Three of Cups reversed. None of that is really coherent or congruent with what your foundation is. So you guys really have to get out of your head and out of your fear. I will say that first and foremost, because you actually have a foundation that will keep you very solid, very steady, and very elevated throughout this time if you would like to be, okay? But let's talk about the week to week for April Cancer. Week number 1, you have Ten of Swords reversed, rooted down by Two of Pentacles. So yeah, you can't quite decide about what needs to end and what needs to continue. Any fear of betrayal or any fear or any like true betrayal with represented by Ten of Swords is coming from indecisiveness, okay? That's an important thing to understand. It's not necessarily about the people or the circumstances. It's about the perhaps the fear to make a decision, which Cancer can sometimes struggle with. So we kind of have to choose a side during this time, choosing, are we going to spend? Are we going to save? Are we going to stock up? Or are we going to, hope that things will just be available soon? There's a lot of side picking, side choosing during this time. So that's okay. Try to let yourself accept that during the first week. Okay, I'm just going to save up, or I'm just going to have these people around me. I'm not going to have a complete open door policy, or maybe I'm going to have an open door policy. What choices am I going to make? It's good for Cancer in the first week of April to really get clear on how they're going to act throughout this time of social distancing and throughout this time of withdrawal, because that, again, this is when you shine, Cancer, and I'm not seeing that so much reflected in your tarot spread. I know as an astrologer and as an intuitive that this is a great space for Cancer, a time where we've got to make important decisions, where our families have to survive, where our homes have to be a source of strength and empowerment. This is a time where Cancer shines, but I'm sensing a lot of fear, and I'm seeing a lot of things that are coming out of nowhere. So what I want you guys to really do preparing for this, especially if you're getting this reading in advance, is I want you to get that done with as soon as possible. So clearing things out, cleaning things out, getting rid of inner fears, inner paranoias, and making decisions that are sound and sturdy. It's like maybe it's not very specific, maybe it's kind of an abstract message, but to a degree, Cancer has an innate instinctual knowledge of how to make things stable, okay? Cardinal, 4th house energy, it is about the foundation, and if you just let your instincts work with you, Cancer, and if you're open to that, they will not lead you astray during this time. Okay, but that's going to rely on you getting out of fear-based mentality and getting out of paranoia as well. Because a Ten of Swords reversed, it can mean that we're actually acting through Nine of Swords energy, so paranoia, fearfulness, worst case scenarios, sleeplessness, insomnia. So no reason to lose sleep over things right now, Cancer. No reason to be too afraid, because things will come through for you. I feel it very strongly. It's just you got to get out of your head there. Week number 2, you guys have 5 of Cups rooted down by 10 of Cups. It's not actually that bad. 5 is a discordant number, but the 10 will kind of prop it up and help it to elevate out of itself. It's true. This type of time does cause any marriages or family relationships or, white picket fence dreams that were deteriorating already to completely collapse. And that's not going to happen for all Cancers. But if you guys have known for a long time that you are going to get a divorce, or you've known for a long time that the current living arrangement or the current family dynamic was really unsound, don't be surprised if that gets even more extreme. And what opportunity that actually gives you in the second week of April is a chance to heal it, first and foremost, and a chance to find a new type of connecting point, or a chance to really know how we're moving forward in the future. So even if it's a little bit chaotic in the second week of April, it's bringing with it a truth, okay? It's bringing with it a... also, bonding over these types of things will happen in times of trial. So in times of quarantine or social distancing, broken families will start to come together just to overcome things. That's a possibility. And, not all of them, but yeah, it's a great time to really get a good dose of truth about the current family well-being. And it's not bad for everybody, but the key is just really getting a good relationship with time and really getting a good relationship with, optimism versus pessimism versus pragmatism. Cancers, you want to not cry over spilled milk during this time. I know it's easy. It's easy for all of us. But some things need to go. And this is an important philosophical karmic lesson for cancers in general. Is, sometimes things leaving or things spilling or going away is not a bad thing. Just imagine if things never left, if things just stagnated forever. If you could never get rid of the parasites, or if you could never heal from an illness, or if you could never, cleanse and clear things out. It's a horrific thing, actually. It's a horrific energy. The type of energy that doesn't allow release or doesn't allow things to change, or sometimes even chaotically allow things to break away, that is a horrific energy. And Five of Cups is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to say, okay, it's okay if it goes, even if this is a bit painful, even if this is something I didn't want to let go of, there is no other incredible energy like release. Okay, releasing things. And it's one of the hardest things for Cancer, especially during a time of withdrawal, okay? But try to meet it halfway, guys. You'll be surprised at how rewarded you are for letting things go in that time. Week number 3, you have Three of Cups reversed, rooted down by the Hierophant. So, yeah, you will gain a new type of spiritual understanding from the potential lack of a support network. So what we lack or what we don't have during this time is our biggest advantage, okay? So having a bit less money, having a bit less time out of the house, having a bit less this or that, it's important. And it is really strongly connected to this theme of release that we're talking about, where, and moving forward into that 4th week as well with the Devil rooted down by Queen of Pentacles, it kind of merges together those, the 3rd and the 4th week, where your authentic sense of connection to source energy is so dependent on getting untied from this old support network, or untied from these old casual relationships, and unshackled from this perhaps addictive cycle as well, indicated by the Devil. It's like the Hierophant and the Queen of Pentacles versus Three of Cups reversed in the Devil. Will you allow the Queen of Pentacles Hierophant authentic energy of true spiritual connection to overcome the people who don't mean that much anymore to you, Three of Cups reversed, and the addictive cycles that don't have any place here anymore anyway? You don't want Hierophant and Queen of Pentacles to be crushed down by these old outworn systems. And I would say your reading, more so than anyone else's this month, Cancer, is really not sugarcoating things and really not allowing for your strength to be questioned, is what it comes down to. You're very strong. And sometimes it's the strongest person or the most prepared person that has the most chaotic time of things, because they, to a degree, we weren't trusting. We weren't trusting that things would come through for us. So we got really prepared, and now we're really prepared, we're really, and sometimes, the universe does give more to people who are unprepared because they have more to risk, so it's kind of a funny thing with the universe when we look back at our experience and we're like, okay, well, I tried really hard, or I gave my all to that relationship, or my all to this family connection, and now it's and now I see that the neighbors who never really tried are having a much easier time of things, and it's like tough to see that, and it's not going to be for everybody, but there's a poetic type of justice in it where you start to see that truly you were more prepared and you are much stronger, and that entitles you to a certain amount of adversity. Okay? It's a tough truth. And it's part of the Cancer karmic progression. And I know we're getting really deep and abstract in this reading. I'm not going to lie, y'all's spread is a little bit more heavy than most of the other signs. And that was unexpected for me, because I thought that Cancers might be shining most brightly during this time of social distancing. And don't let anyone take that away from you is another thing. And maybe even this is the most important aspect of this reading is you are meant to shine during times like this, Cancer. You are meant to do well. You, Scorpio, Capricorn, even Aquarius to some degree, are meant to do really well in times of adversity, times of withdrawal, times of isolation. There's no reason to make this harder than it has to be, basically. All right. So I challenge you, Cancers, to not make this harder than it has to be, first and foremost. And I challenge you to find a way to shine, even if you feel a lot of adversity, or even if you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have as much money, or I don't know if I can make my bills. It will come through. It will come through for you. I have faith that it will come through. And what a great time to just feel better about a lot of things and just let all of this chaotic things go away. I challenge you, Cancers, to make this something good for yourself. Anyway, I'm going to pull a central theme as well as 2 supporting theme cards in the extended reading on Patreon, Cancers, if you guys want to jump over there and check out the extended reading. And otherwise, your subscribes, likes, and comments make my day. Let me know how this energy is going for you. I think that the comments are important for this video because I want Cancers to build each other up, because I do think there's a certain amount of adversity, and I think that you have a lot to teach as well. And you were very prepared at the same time. So it's an interesting thing. I would like to understand more from personal accounts of what's going on here. So comment below. And thank you guys so much for being here. It might be a great time to check out my ebook, Moon Symbols, an astrological guide to healing your moon. You are a Cancer. You are ruled by the moon. So if there's many difficult things coming up, healing your relationship to the moon could be helpful, and understanding your moon sign more could be helpful as well. That will be linked below in the description box. And I will be talking to you guys very soon. I have a whole new calendar for the month of April of release schedules. I have new tea chats on Patreon every Saturday. I'm going to have new standalone videos every Tuesday, as well as obviously the general readings and premieres of videos where we can all come and socialize safely, from the comfort of our own homes on Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, we're having premieres on the YouTube channel here. And subscribe and hit the bell button so you can know when they come. And yeah, I wanted to up my output to help you guys during this time of withdrawal. And thank you so much for being here. We'll be talking soon, Cancers. Much love. Bye.